What's up, everybody? Once again, it is I, James, coming to you from the Nerdy Mewzings podcast studio. I am excited to be joined today by Big Cliff of Cliff on Comics. How you doing today, Cliff?
Great, thanks for having me. I love that intro music.
Oh, yeah.
I was into it.
My boy, Easy Rob, is the one who did that. And this guy is, he's actually got an Instagram called Your Dad's Comics, and he sells comics through Instagram, and he's the one that does that. He does music on the side, so it's really cool. Was able to hook me up with that when I got the idea for the podcast. So I called you Big Cliff when I introduced you there. I had to reach out to you after I saw that picture of you picking Mike from Lunch Money Comics up. I'm trying to collect all the literally and figuratively big nerds and make sure I have you guys on my podcast. So I've had Brandon, I've had Colossus Collector, like Big Me McFly was on yesterday, and
Love it.
now Big Cliff is on here too.
I'm very happy. And I met a bunch of those people at Terrificon in Connecticut over the summer. So, I got to see some of the big people out there.
That's so cool.
Assert my size.
So many cool stories came out of that Terrificon, like the fun everybody had, and meeting up with people who they'd met online and never got to meet in person. Like those guys, they've had one heck of an experience there. What was your experience like at Terrificon?
Oh, well, the first day my mom was having, on Friday, right? My mom was having a skin removal surgery.
Oh, no.
So I'm with her, and then her heart rate, she was awake, but her heart rate had not returned perfectly to normal, which happened one other time at the same hospital. So they're telling me, I think we're going to keep you. So I'm preparing to just straight up leave, right? And also, I was supposed to go see my oral surgeon. Isn't this awful? So while I'm at the oral surgeon, they're like, yeah, we're going to knock you out. Which, by the way, I wish I had let them knock me out. Like, I can't even, like, the whole oral surgery thing. I have no, right? So I'm like, no one told me you were going to knock me out. There was a plan. I'm like, you're talking about removing 3 of my teeth. I'm only interested in removing 2. No. I am not ready for this. No, right? So I leave there, and as I'm leaving there, and this is like an hour from the hospital my mother's in.
Yeah.
I'm leaving there. She's texting me to see how I'm doing with the dentist, and I told her, I'm like, I'm going straight to the show. She's like, you just released me. I'm like, I'll be right there to get you.
Oh, man.
So I drive up, I get her, I bring her back. By the time I find my roommate, it's like 9 or 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Right? So the first day is just gone. And this girl I know, Carol, at 5:30 in the morning, she was online to meet Keanu Reeves. And there was all this like gossip about the other hotel, the Foxwoods Hotel, being mad that he was there. And she was there for all of it.
Oh, my goodness.
And she got to meet Keanu. So she was all excited. And then Saturday, I was like, okay, I gotta find people that I know, and I gotta do this, I gotta do that. I'm like running around the show with my friend Rich, and then like just trying to, just say hi to people, meet people, and which was fine. I started slowly but surely. I was finding people. Now I was like not running into anybody. I was like worn out around like 1 o'clock, and like I went back out to the car, and I took take an hour nap in the car, right?
Right.
And then there's all these texts from people. I'm like, I'm like running in there. I'm just like the juggernaut. And it's crazy because I think at this point while I'm racing, I see Brandon on his phone like this, not knowing what's happening. I assume this is Brandon, so maybe he's just making content. So I swing over and grab him and scare the hell out of him, and it's his thing. He's on the other side of this children.
Oh my goodness.
So he lets go of his family, and we just chit chat and hug or whatever. And he's like, "It's so great to run into you," and and I'm like, "Cool." And I don't know. I wish I had found people and hung out with them. I don't know what the hell's doing. So I find some of the Canadians, I find Black Crow Comics, I really scoop them up into the air, and he was like, Jesus, Cliff. So then for a bit. And then like it just became like, who can I find? Where am I going? What am I doing? Also, I'm trying to like find deals on comics for me, which is just slightly not working. I don't even remember. There's like some dude. I don't know, like one day we'll find each other again. But he was like helping me dig through dollar books, and that was
that's so cool.
and my friend John from oh my god, I can't remember the name of his Cartel Comics or Comics Cartel, one of those two. He sees me and he's like, look, I know you want a couple of books on my table. I'm like, I know, John, but really, I just want this one book. I can't afford it. He goes, I'll let you. He's like, just take the books you want for $20. You know?
Wow.
I'm like, and so like he gave me, so for $20, I got Rhodey's first appearance, and it's in great condition, and I got Giant Size Invaders #1, and both of and I was so happy with Giant Size Invaders because my Giant Size Invaders, I ordered it and it was in beautiful condition, and the tape as I took it out of the bag snagged Captain America.
Oh my god.
And that's the end of that, right?
Yeah.
So the bad one, and I've got the one that I actually want to get like graded, right? So because as you know, that's like oh my god, I can't remember the artist names. But the original Invaders artist that like they brought him out of retirement to do that cover,
Yeah.
Why his name escaping me? God.
It's on the tip of my tongue too. I can't remember.
Like it's like oh my god, it's terrible. This is terrible. So anyhow, so like I was devastated, but like John took care of me, and then I just kept racing around, and then I found 3 Men in the Basement, and that was cool. And then I ran into Old Man Wolf, which if you've ever seen Tony, he's just such a wonderful mess. And so then like we're grabbing each other in front of the 3 Men in the Basement like table. and then Otto from 3 Men in the Basement is just like, what is happening in front of my booth? Like, what is going on? Because like, and at one point, like, Tony and I are like playing grab ass, and I just whispered to Tony's ear, and I was like, there's no game of gay chicken that I want. I'm like, we gotta stop.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
It's really great.
So it was a whirlwind adventure, it sounds like.
It was, I mean, it was fun. Also, I saw Terry Dodson. His wife wasn't there, but we had a great talk, and we had him sign and, what do you call it when you sign it and you draw on it?
Remark.
Sign and remark Miracle Man #0 for comics curing cancer. And I had CDCS witness it, and then they sent it back to me, so I had it ready for comics curing cancer.
Oh, that's amazing.
Of course, I had to make him write comics curing cancer on it, so they would put comics curing cancer on the label.
Yeah, right? They won't do it unless it's written on it, right?
Oh, it was so annoying because I was like, are we for real here? But like, they gave me a discount because it's for charity. He gave me a huge discount because it's for charity. So like, basically what would have been like $100 and something, he did it for $35.
Yeah.
And I totally respect that because several years ago when I met him and his wife in New York Comic Con, that weekend, this dude was like on my sister's dying of cancer, and made them do this Wonder Woman for him. I made sure it was done by Saturday, and Saturday night he had it up on eBay.
Yeah, that's very, very disappointing.
It's disgusting. So,
but it happens, unfortunately.
Right, and but it's terrible because this happened back then when it didn't always happen, but it finally happened to like the wrong people. Like,
yeah,
you did it to like the sweetest people ever.
Yeah, him and his wife are awesome.
And so yeah, it was really terrible. And I just felt so bad. And for a few years, there was all sorts of stuff they just did not do at they didn't do at shows anymore. Schoenberg.
You found it.
Schoenberg.
It came to you.
So it was just like awful. And like, I love Rachel Dodson and Terry Dodson. Like, they're really cool.
Terry, I had a good time chatting with Terry a couple years ago down at Rose City Comic Con, and I bought like a X-Men original page from him, and just had a real good chat. They seem like really good people.
They are really good people, and he said he would love to come back next year because he had such a great time, and to bring Rachel with him. And so, of course, I told Mitch immediately. I'm like, Mitch, you need to get them both. Tell him they are welcome.
Yeah, for sure.
Because we had Adam Hughes and his partner. What, I can't remember her name. This is terrible. But they were there, and they did some bomb ass stuff for fans. And John Jang was there. Love John Jang.
Nice.
From, I think, of some ass in your face or balls in your face, Spidey, depending on how you that cover.
So it sounds like you are involved with a lot of charitable causes, because I saw you obviously you just spoke about the Comics Curing Cancer, but on your stories before Christmas, weren't you doing some stuff for Toys for Tots and that type of thing as well?
Me and my local comic shop, and of course I roped all my friends into it, which is wonderful, right? It's really wonderful that you could start something. This was our 15th year, so it's really funny and wonderful that you could start something and start it with a friend, and that it grows into more of your friends want to be involved and look forward.
Sure.
And whether it's just that they support by dropping off a check, or they support by dropping off some money, or they support by dropping off toys, or they support by mailing you toys, or they support by showing up as a guest like Brian and Gary Brown, all are wonderful things, right?
Yeah, that's so amazing.
So, and of course, we actually sold one of Ryan's slabs for like 60 or 70 bucks. That was really cool. Anyhow, so like last year we had stuff from Paul Rudd, and it was our first year that we went over $1,000. But this year, without cool stuff from Paul Rudd, we did 555, which is still wonderful.
Yeah, that's great.
And more than 6 full boxes of toys. We had 6 full boxes of toys and several bags of toys that went out the door. So like, you know, I'm not the state troopers, but we do.
You did work on it. That sounds great.
And
I was just going to ask you, I wanted to kind of see, like, when did your love of comics start, and when did you start collecting? Have you been a long time comics fan? I know some of the guests I have on, it's like they started super young, and then some of them got into it more as a teenager or young adults. Tell me about the origin stories of Big Cliff and comic books.
So I started at age 2. I saw Superman on television. So Superman was stuck in my head. And then like I had a few Superman comics as a young kid that I couldn't read, and my poor mom would have to read them all the time. And I was like, kept looking for them, right? So like the first Superman comic I had, it involved Superman and Vartox. I'm like, who the hell is Vartox other than this guy in golden brown with his chest exposed or whatever?
Yeah.
No, and I didn't have a sexual awakening yet. All I knew is I really liked Superman, right?
Right.
Yeah, Vartox flew around with his chest exposed. And I guess like, and I didn't realize like Vartox is like supposed to be Superman's friend. And I was like, oh, this is cool. So we found all 3 chapters eventually, like from drugstore to drugstore. And one place that was like a Walmart is called Lloyd's. So like that was where I got my first one. And then an Action Comics where Superman was fighting Captain Strong, who was a knockoff of Popeye. And then I had another one that was like, it was All-Star Squadron and, you know, Earth 2 Superman. But I didn't understand the All-Star Squadron was an alternate reality. All I understood is, well, Superman's older. He has a different S, and that's like really weird.
Yeah.
And so I like some of it wasn't registering for me. But then on the news, on ABC Channel 7 New York News, they did this whole thing about the new Superman, starting with Man of Steel. They're changing Superman. They're updating his origins. And it was on the news, you know?
Yeah.
And so I got issue 1 of Man of Steel. And at this point, I can read. And I'm about 9 or 10 years. I'm definitely 9 years old at this point, right? Or 8 or 9, right? And I'm reading it, and I'm obsessed with it, and I'm reading the letter page, right? And he goes into this whole thing, because the letter page is really a note from him, because there's no letters for, obviously, Man of Steel #1.
Yeah.
And he goes into this whole thing about how his first exposure to Superman was watching George Reeves, and the episode was The Haunted Lighthouse.
Okay. Right? Yeah.
I'm like, who the F is George Reeves? And so I was like, oh, Superman used to be on talk show, but Superman was on television.
Yep.
So, like, and the thing is, like, Superman was in reruns, but nowhere near where I lived, right?
Okay.
So my mom worked at an alarm company, and her friend at the alarm company had a brother who lived way upstate, right, in Rochester. And that guy and so weeks and months passed with me obsessed trying to figure out who George Reeves is, right? And I've never seen this Superman on television. And I think it was Superman's. I can't even remember what it was, but like the first time I saw George Reeves on television, it was some kind of retrospective, and it was briefly. And I was like, oh man, like there's a Superman TV show.
Yeah.
Anyhow, the dude from upstate New York gets it to his brother. His brother brings 2 VHS tapes filled with George Reeves Superman for me to watch.
Awesome.
Well, the first thing I put in the VCR, it's the two-part Superman the Mole Men, which of course was originally a theatrical release, right? So I'm like, wow, this is great. And I notice it's Phyllis Coates who's Lois Lane. And then the episodes keep going. I go to the next tape, and the episodes were not re-aired sequentially upstate. So these 2 tapes are all over the place. But so there's even some color episodes in the first tape, and the second tape, the third episode in on the second tape is the Haunted Lighthouse. And I'm like,
oh, cool.
So that was exciting. Then shortly, sometime after that, Superman's 50th anniversary took place. And then there was more retrospectives on television. And then they released Superman the Mole Men on VHS. And they released Superman, the original movie serial with Kirk Allen on VHS. And the Superman, the Quest for Peace, Superman 4 was coming out. Like, so anyhow, I got all these ridiculously expensive VHS tapes for Christmas.
That's so cool.
You know, and it was just, it was cool, but it was like crazy. But I was obsessed with Superman at the time. And then of course, my local station, Channel 9, started airing regularly on Saturdays, The Adventures of Superman.
Right.
And then I really got to see it. And then forget it, Nick at Night started showing The Adventures of Superman. And now you can buy it on VHS. You can buy digital downloads now.
It's crazy.
You know?
So Superman's always been near and dear to your heart. What other comics did you start picking up? Superman was kind of your gateway into comics, it sounds like. So what else were you gravitating towards at the time?
So through Superman, I discovered the Legion of Superheroes. And then I really stuck to DC for a long time. Like I was like, oh, like, you know, and then of course everybody would be like, dude, why are you reading DC comics? It's lame.
Right. The classic Marvel versus DC argument, right?
I'm like, oh no, I'm having a good old time with Superman over here. I mean, like,
yeah,
you know, he's fighting Intergang, and Intergang looks like they're being run by Darkseid. So I'm like, I'm really into this. Darkseid's a freaking scary ass villain. I'm like, I don't know what you guys are doing. And then of course, I think around the time of just after Thanos Quest, I started getting interested. And then of course the X-Men were quickly appealing to me because all my friends were talking about it. And then I finally just caved in and I picked up X-Men 275, and you know, that's got the gatefold cover by Jim Lee and Scott Williams. And and we got the Shi'ar and the X-Men, and someone gave me the Dark Phoenix saga as a gift.
Very cool.
And that actually was the catalyst for me to start reading X-Men. And it's really funny because like Chris Claremont really just has no idea, or really, like, I mean, he has an idea now, but like as he was doing stuff, he had no idea like the webs he was accidentally weaving, right?
Yes.
I remember there's an issue of New Mutants, and the internal dialogue of Cannonball was the rejection of his parents for being a mutant. Right?
Yeah.
And it spoke directly to how I felt about being gay.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, it absolutely brought me to tears, but it was like one of the best things I ever read. And the funny thing is that as we get into I'm discovering my sexuality, I'm more drawn to Superman because of the nature of Superman having a secret identity, because he has to protect the people he loves. I have to keep a secret to protect the people, to protect myself and the people I love. Right?
Yeah, there's a lot of parallels there that could be picked up on for sure.
And so a lot of people think that that's awfully strange, but like for my young mind, I didn't think it was strange. I was like, well, yeah, like, because like instantly, if you're gay, it's a problem for you, but also it becomes a problem for your whole,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Then everybody knows, everybody talks, and it's terrible. I was like, this is what I grew up with, you know? And gay culture on television was rough and very hit and miss. The first gay character I ever saw on television was Steven on Dynasty.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. And then because of the censors, there's like a good 2 years where they tried to just make Steven straight.
Right.
And I'm like, oh my God. So like, and again, like in the beginning, I was too young to know or care. But then like by the time it's like season 2 of like we're trying to keep Steven straight, I'm starting to be like, this doesn't seem right to me. And then I remember in 5th grade, because I went to Catholic school to boot. So like I went to I emphasized the boot there. So like I'm in Catholic school, and yes, this is in upstate New York. I was born here. Even though I'm half Canadian, half Puerto Rican, so we'll get into that another time. In Catholic school, I was like, well, why couldn't 2 women get married? And then my religious teacher goes off.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
2 women can't get married. And I still wasn't even 100% sure where my head was with that. I just thought it's insane that 2 women can't get married, even though they love each other as much as a man and a woman do. He goes, no, because 2 women could never love each other the way a man and a woman.
Right.
And I'm like, little did he know he was right, but for entirely the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
So that was like awful. And I was like, okay, fine, dreading this. But also like everyone around me, like their hormones in 5th grade, for God's sake, everyone's hormones were kicking into overdrive.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
In the meantime, I'm like reading my comic books and totally like, I don't know what's wrong with any of you. I'm like, you're all completely insane. And like, isn't every other class in this freaking building about like our purity and our sanctity?
Right.
So I was like, I was absolutely not interested in anything. And then this boy Jason transferred to our school, and that was the end of it. And then I was like, oh.
You're like, everything makes sense now.
Oh, this could be what's going on.
Yeah.
It was funny because it's like one of those things where like you start having dreams you don't understand, and then,
right.
Oh my God. And then you're reading X-Men and you're like,
like Chris Claremont understands.
It was pretty.
So it sounds like DC was like a big part, but then it's almost, and looking at the books behind you, like I think I see a lot more Marvel books back there than DC books. Would you say you kind of switched over and started collecting more Marvel?
No, because
okay.
Slabs don't really reflect reality.
Okay.
I've only started collecting slabs since 2023.
Ah, gotcha.
All right. Officially collecting them. There's one around here somewhere that's like one of my very first slabs. But sad story, I had 2 Michael Turner slabs that are worth a small fortune. And the year I owned a comic book store, I had to sell them just to make
oh no,
the year.
Yeah.
And call it a day. But do you see that X-Men number 4 above my head on my right side?
Yes.
All right. So that is
Yep.
is from my childhood. This
Omega Red.
Yeah, I picked this up off the comic rack from my comic book dealer who did not have a shop. He was in a local flea market every Sunday.
Oh, that's so cool. And you sent it in to get graded and everything?
Put it in to get graded. It's double signed. Jim Lee, Scott Williams came back a 9.4. It's moved with me 4 times.
I was going to say, that's amazing that you kept it in that good a shape.
Yeah. Can you imagine how I felt that I was like, wow, this book, when I got it back, I'm like, this book is 32 years old.
Yeah.
Survived 4 moves with me, 1 attic and 2 boiler rooms, mind you.
Holy cow.
So the attic was too cold and the boiler rooms were too hot, and it still came back a 9.4 just because I kept it properly bagged.
Yep.
And I felt so good about that. So, now I cherish it.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, having one that you actually had as a kid and then getting it slabbed has to be such a cool experience. I have some of my older stuff, but I can't place in my memory um, exactly which ones were ones that I got when I was a kid or not. It's all a blur now. But I'm a bit older than you, so
You are not.
I think I am. How old are you?
Let's see. What's today? Saturday. On Wednesday, I turned 47.
Oh, okay, so we're the same age. I'm 47 now. Well, there you go. Okay, okay. We're looking good, man.
Yeah.
I thought you were younger than 47.
Because I'm not going to tell you I have a naughty answer in like my regular. I don't know enough about your show to do the naughty answer, but my regular answer is I don't have kids.
There you go. I don't have kids either. Maybe that is the secret.
It is the secret because I was positive that I was older than you, and so that's cool.
That's great. No, so X-Men, big part of your collection. I see some other slabs back there. I see
Original art by Dexter Vines, a Wolverine there.
Yep, and then over your other shoulder, yeah, right above your head there.
Yep, and then and of course my love of Superman still shines because there's Power Girl's first appearance up there.
Oh yes.
Which I went to a con this year and upgraded. I won a raffle from the door, so I put all these raffle tickets right into Power Girl's first appearance, and I now have a 6.0.
Oh, that's awesome.
And a friend of mine already claimed this one. I was going to do something special with it, and he's like, "Don't you dare! I will buy it from you. Do not do anything with it."
I see some Thor. You got Thor.
First Grey Gargoyle.
Yep, and Spidey something next to the Thor.
That's Spidey Super Stories #1.
Oh wow.
From Marvel Comics and the Electric Company, which until 2023 I was not aware existed.
Yeah, that's a more obscure one.
Yeah.
And I know off camera, because you showed me a little preview before. Oh, you got that down there too.
Yep. So just more Super Family Love.
Yep.
Family Love. Super Family Love. There's Super Family Love up here.
And this is why I tell everybody you got to make sure you watch the video version of the podcast, because everybody always shows off their amazing collections and things. And you had some close by to you there off camera, some slabs. You want to show us some of those?
Yes. So one of my collecting goals this year was Marvel Team Up. So I did get the first American appearance of Captain Britain.
Oh yeah.
In Marvel Team Up number 65.
Newsstand edition.
And it's a newsstand, but let's keep in mind that's not a big deal for the year it was produced.
Right.
So like I'm not even worried about that. But I do enjoy it.
9.2, that's a great grade.
No, it's an excellent grade. I basically paid pennies on the dollars for this. And the cover is a George Perez, Joe Sinnott cover.
Oh yeah.
And I'm friendly with the Sinnott family, so like this is super special to me. And then another big one was Marvel Team Up #1.
Oh, there you go.
Which of course we find out that the woman that Spider-Man rescues in the story is Misty Knight.
Yep.
So I think that's really neat.
Yeah.
Well, it's a #1 and a Christmas issue, so I love that. How many big ones? How many meaningful collector ones do you want me to talk about here?
I mean, show like at least a few more.
Oh, I can easily show you a few more. So then, we got Submariner 34 and 35.
Oh, nice.
So why do I have these? These are pre-Defender books, and there's about 5 pre-Defender books, and these are the last 2. So I have these, right? And it's
beautiful. I love that cover.
And they're both a 6.5. And again, I got a really good deal on it. And of course, that's Submariner 35, Surfer, Hulk, and Submariner are fighting the Avengers, which is only appropriate to have Avengers 116 in the slab.
Oh, beautiful.
Part of the Avengers Defenders War. So one of my goals was to get all the issues slab, but some of them are nearly impossible.
Yeah.
Not nearly impossible. I just can't afford them. It's more like, and I was really like doing some big game hunting. So I did get Marvel Feature #1, in an 8.0.
Oh, sweet.
At Terrificon, there was a nice guy there, and I say nice guy because he and I had a lot of mutuals, and he was trying to sell it to me with a big old crease in it in a 7.0 for 300. I cannot do it. I can't. And I know that was not fair market value.
Yeah.
With shipping, I got this for I think 236.
Oh, that's a great deal.
And for 8.0. And that's the thing. I went to a reasonable amount of shows this year, but the majority of my best deals were all online. And I was like, I miss when I'm happy that there are more shows being about being a comic book show, but I really miss when you could really get really good deals. I'm like, I got better deals online this year. This is up.
Yeah.
So also we got this Invaders #1 and a 9.2. This is another great deal that I scored. So Invaders, Marvel Team Up, and Defenders were on my collecting list.
That was your 2024 collecting list?
Yes. And so it didn't work out as planned. And what can you do? I sent in one of my Ultimate Spider-Man #1s from this year, and it came back a 9.8.
Oh, that's great.
I have all the standard covers except for 1A. And then so I chose the Ben Reilly outfit to send in. I just went for it.
When it comes to, so I got to ask you about this, because I have some trepidation about sending books into CGC or, sending them in to get graded. I haven't personally sent any of mine yet, just because of the fear of it getting there. And then also the aspect of, I've heard little horror stories here and there about books sitting there and then coming back not in the condition that they were when the person sent it in. How have your experiences been? Have you had pretty good experiences with them?
I mean, I got a double-signed 9.4 from a book of mine that was 30 years old, so I
True.
Speaking volumes.
You had one of the best experiences.
Right, and that 9.8 on Ultimate Spider-Man is just fine. But yes, I heard all about Banana, this, and then what was happening internally, which was awful. But unfortunately, you will just have awful people working for you.
Right.
So but I don't send anything in like that, right? So of course, once the full thing started happening, I stopped sending things in. I got very scared. I want to make sure that they're well away from that. And then I started falling in love with CBCS because I love their new label, and they don't have But then they have a couple of their own little controversies. But again, I don't send books in that would qualify for said controversy.
Right.
Like my buddy who had a terrible public problem with them. That was X-Men #1.
Oh my God.
So that was an awful experience, right?
Yeah.
Not good for PR, but it was X-Men #1. I had a lovely experience with them and Terry Dodson in my beautiful 9.8 signed and remarked book that we gave away for, not gave away, but we auctioned off parody, which my friend John won, and we did a lovely video about winning boxes from each other from Comics Curing Cancer. So yeah, I don't have any deep ill will, but like everyone else, I have trepidation, but
right.
And yeah, so that's it. I feel tread lightly and just don't go guns blazing. Find something that you like that is not the end of the world, right? And just send a couple in and just see how it goes.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Or something I have a couple of copies of, so if one of them did get messed up, it's okay, I still have the other one here.
Exactly. But of course, what I've done a lot of is just buying stuff for everybody Slab, and then that's it.
Yeah.
I have trades or loose copies of all these books for me to enjoy and read. And
yeah, I like doing that too. Yeah, anything I have slabbed, I want to have a copy, like a reader copy, or at least, something that I can flip through.
The only stuff I don't have a reader copy of is the Gamora, because I won that out of a show somewhere. That Strange Adventures with the Beast, I won that off of Instagram. Spidey Super Stories, I found that at a show. I got a really good deal because I also got the Strange Tales Volume 2 #1 Namor reprint at the same show. So I got two of them, both of them together for $110. So I thought that was great.
Yeah, that's a great deal.
I got that Thor slab just because it's a beautiful.
That's a Mike, or wait, oh no, that's the Alex Ross one, huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
That Batman down below, that one is from my childhood, that Batman, and that came back in 9.8.
Wow.
So, and then that's an art slab that also came 9.6. That extra runs behind me.
Now, when you were a kid, you mentioned bagging and boarding. Did you get in on that pretty early, making sure you were taking care of the books that you were collecting?
Yes, at least most of not all of them got the same treatment, because like some of the books that everybody, so like some of my books that I read a lot didn't get the same love, and I was like, oh, I'll just put this one in a bag because I read it all the time and who cares.
Yeah.
Well, like all the ones that were like important, like my Superman 200, my Superman 199, like they got a nice bag and board. My Superman 199, there's like an air bubble on the back and it really bothers me, but it's archival board, archival.
Yeah.
So like it's secure. Like it's still, it is not in perfect shape, but it is literally exactly the shape it was when I bought it at 16 years old.
Yeah, right. Now, you talked a lot about the stories resonating with you. Was there a certain group of artists or, people that you followed from book to book? I was always kind of a collect based on the artist type of person because I like to draw, but I know a lot of people don't care as much about the art, but obviously the art has to be cool enough to like catch your eye. So who were some of your favorites back then?
I care a lot about art and story. And I don't know what it says about how my brain works, but I need the story to be good and the art to be great for me to
Yeah.
But if the story is bad and the art is great, that will also really upset me. Like
Yeah.
vocal, very vocal on how much I hate Dark Crisis. I hate it. I feel like it was one of the biggest waste of times. I felt it was like, I felt all the payoffs were dog and pony show stuff, it just set up more Amanda Waller, which just disgusted me. She's there's nothing there's no proper buildup for why she's this threat. She kept having these little wins that this friend of mine keeps pointing out along the way, but like
Yeah.
all of them weren't like, it wasn't none of her victories were well written or well executed or felt well earned or anything. It just like, like Trigon approached her and like she had something on her desk and like Trigon tried to like reach to her. And this thing on her desk was protecting her. How?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, because she's that woman. I'm like, well, yeah, but no, because we've never seen it. I feel like this time that they put into her is a betrayal to who her character originally was when, Ostrander was writing her in the original run. So, and I like my Amanda Waller, my Justice League Unlimited Amanda Waller, right? And I thought she had a lot more goodness to her core than the version we're getting now. I feel like the version we get now is heavily tainted by James Gunn, and I'm not here for it. I don't find it entertaining. I'm totally against it. Rah, rah, rah. That said, like I love Mark Waid, I really enjoy everything Hickman writes. So like I'm drawn to what they write. I'm repulsed by JRJR's artwork. Anything he's working on, I'm probably not going to read it automatically. I did read and enjoy Kick-Ass, so there are exceptions even for me.
Yeah.
I love Mark Miller's stuff. I feel like the most of the stuff he's done with Millar World is just great.
Yeah, I really enjoy his stuff. And he usually has a good artist on the books as well.
Right, like freaking Nemesis?
Yeah, McNiven. Yeah, amazing stuff.
Absolutely. I freaking love Steve. It's just so good. And I don't know. So like, and then of course I love Jim Lee, but then I didn't love Wildcats. But then later on, when Warren Ellis took over Stormwatch, I loved Stormwatch, and I became the Authority, and I love the Authority. But then the Authority had Frank Wiley and other great artists on it. So
yeah. Yeah, I'm right there with you on the art and the story. Like even though I heavily lean on the art, like it's important to have it at least be readable and make sense. Like you're saying, where they throw in these random things where it's like, well, we've never seen that before, and now all of a sudden that's just the MacGuffin that makes it make sense of why this thing is occurring with no forethought. That can be real annoying.
So very much so. So very much so. And I yeah, so like it's been hard to read and enjoy modern books, but like I've really enjoyed Ultimate Spider-Man. I like it took a few issues, but after issue 3 of Absolute Superman, I'm on board. Absolute Wonder Woman, I really am into Wonder Woman, so like I felt like the first issue certainly did capture my attention. And then issues 2 and 3, I feel like she's actually the best of the 3 books, but everybody's obsessed with Batman.
I'm really enjoying the Wonder Woman one. That was one I wasn't anticipating enjoying, and then I've enjoyed every issue of it.
Yo, her lasso does the penance stare. Come on.
Yeah, it's super cool. It's a very unique take, and I like the Batman one too, just because I'm a Batman fan and I like the kind of the art style on it. But yeah, I definitely would agree that the Wonder Woman's right up there at the top of the list as far as those absolute books go.
It's been great. And of course, I think the best comic on shelves, and there's a lot of people hating on it, but the Woman series with Tom King and Daniel Samper has been excellent. It's been a near masterclass on how you should write stuff. And yes, I know people don't like that she slapped her mom during the contest when we revisit her origin for the 100th time. But get over it, okay? I mean, how many other times have they trampled over Wonder Woman's legacy? And I never heard anyone speak up before.
Yeah.
Not only this time. And I'm like, and I'm sorry, the slap is a slap. Everything else is really cool. Like, I've been enjoying it,
Yeah, Tom King's a great writer.
I'm going to say that he's a great writer all the time. Like, it's been a while since I really enjoyed something he did, but I really enjoyed it. He also had like 6 months lead time with Daniel Samper. So that's another important thing.
Yeah.
Get a banger writer and artist together and give them lead time so that
let them cook, right?
Right. Let them really cook. So those issues just come out and be like,
yeah.
When they attacked the Capitol and like Wonder Woman, the Sovereign Squad, like Wonder Woman didn't do what they expected. She was being a hero. And Sovereign's like, why would she do this? And like one of his little lackey douches was like, because she's Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
That's awesome. Well, as we wind things down, I wanted to make sure to ask you how you got started on YouTube and how long ago was that and what kind of led you to that? Was it, getting on there and seeing other people talking about comics and having these channels, or were you just like, I want to put myself out there and start to put some content out there for everybody?
Yeah, and I'll tell you when it happened. A podcast called The Ring Is Chosen, right? And that was with me and my then partner Squire, and we covered the comic book content of this card game, the Versus System card game that they made cards for Marvel and DC.
Oh, okay.
And so we cover the comic book content. It was like, oh, this card is blah, blah, blah. And that's from this storyline, And then, of course, he had 2 kids. They were getting older. He had job changes, life changes. The game died on us. That was terrible. And so it was just kind of like drifted away from that. So then I resurrected it on my own on YouTube. And I was just doing it in my comic shop with my friends. And like, that didn't really go anywhere. Then there's another comic shop that's 45 minutes north of me. And I befriended a guy there. And he's like, do you want to come here once a week? And we'll just do our show up here. Right. And they have everything. They had beautiful computer equipment. They had a guy there who knows OBS and knows how to edit and everything. And so that was really great. And that was called Read, Watch, Play. And then he moved and there's some stuff. And then and that was my buddy Tony. And then his best friend, also Tony. We tried to do something else, but I was going through a lot. I lost my press access to Comic-Con. then my job, then my boyfriend broke up with me over text.
Oh, man.
And I was trying to rebound, but I had nothing left in me. And the guys all were very content pre-recording these podcast episodes that were never airing. It was just for us to do and like get better. And I was like, no, the fun of having a podcast is the audience growing with you.
Absolutely.
And they were trying to perfect it. And I was really struggling emotionally, and I told them I was out. And I felt very, very bad about that. But like, I was like, I can't do this. Like, I can't put the energy into this for stuff that no one's going to listen to. And like, and I'm struggling to get the energy to do it because in reality, I'm at home, like battling a deep depression.
Yeah.
You know,
and knowing that nobody's going to hear what you're doing and everything.
So like that went away. So then this cuts to sometime later. And, you know, I had tried to do The Ring Has Chosen alone. And then of course I had the rewatch play and then, so I don't know. It just becomes a little bit hazy. And then I run into Sam, and Sam is like my friend from middle school, from like 8th, 9th grade. Right. And, you know, he still collects comics and we run into each other from time to time, but it's not like we stayed super close over the years like we are now, right? Or we're much closer. So we run into each other a couple shows. It's like, oh, you want to do video stuff? I was like, of course I'll do video stuff. Let's go. And then he started a channel called The Ring Has Chosen. No, my God, no, I'm The Ring Has Chosen. No. So he started the Council of Comics. So then I started doing stuff with the Council of Comics. Now, of course, he was inspired by all the people he saw on YouTube, but I wasn't. I'm not paying attention to all that. The last time I was on YouTube, it was a wasteland, and I didn't see anybody out there that reflected my interests, much less that reflected me. So now we're doing it, and I'm still blissfully unaware of what's going on out there. I can't remember who it was that I stumbled upon the first time, because it's not even somebody I pay attention to anymore, you know, because it's just because I want to pay attention to people who love comics, you know?
Right.
So then our friend Angel, may he rest in peace, he had Empire Comics, and he was successful with it in Florida, but he moved with his kids to New York, where in our area, and we met through the comic store, and he's a great guy, and we're talking, and he's like, oh, you're going to get more involved with this and that. And he like espoused a lot of really good, espoused, is that the word I want to use? And he shared a lot of great like tips and stuff, and like, which I really hung on to. So he like slowly introduced us to the community. So he had his 1K giveaway, and for his 1K giveaway, he had Sam on, and I was watching, and there was Brian and Brian LCS and Southpaw, Brad and DJ Links, and I was like, oh, I kind of recognize DJ Links, and I started following him, and shortly thereafter he passed away. You know, he had a lung infection that was like unknown and untreated, and he mistook it for his asthma.
Oh no.
So one night he had trouble breathing, and his lungs gave out, and then his heart gave out.
That's so scary. One of my jiu-jitsu students had been thinking he was having this asthma thing for years now. And this has been over a year ago now, but he came to class, and he was like, Coach, he's like, my asthma is really acting up today. I think I'm going to go home early. And I said, well, yeah, go rest up, make sure you call me when you get home. I want to know that you got home okay and everything. And he texted me partway home and says, oh, I'm feeling way better and all of this. Well, that night I get a call from his wife that he had a major heart attack and he was in the hospital. And the thing that they had been diagnosing as this lung/asthma thing was actually heart related, and they didn't catch it. And thankfully he pulled through, but it was very close to losing him. So that's so scary when these things get misinterpreted and end up being losing somebody,
or you're not checking in. Like we had to talk about health insurance and stuff weeks prior, and it breaks my heart to think about that.
Yeah.
So you see this Spider-Man Gleason slab up here?
Yep.
So I won that in an Instagram giveaway,
Oh, wow.
and I won it. I got the notification on my phone that I had won it on my way to his funeral.
Oh, my goodness.
And he was a Spider-Man fan, and I'm never giving up that slap.
No, yeah. That's a lot of sentimental value there.
Absolutely. Like, and I tell people, I said, I'm not going to say that I 100% believe that this was some kind of like sign from God sort of.
Right.
I will also not deny that I feel something so strongly.
Yep.
That I won that, how I won it, when I won it, and
for sure.
So yeah, it has sentimental value, and every time somebody asks me about it, I'll talk about it, and it'll probably always be there over my shoulder.
That's awesome.
As long as this wall stays up, right?
Yeah.
He was a great dude, and thanks to him and Brian LCS really being supportive of us, and I started following these channels, and my personal YouTube handle was like Clifford NY or something. So all of these people are like really not recognizing me in the chat, and of course, like I'm not the moderator. I don't have moderator power over accounts or anything like that. And so I'm not being recognized for where I'm being seen. And then when people started putting together who I actually was, like, they're like, why don't you have your own content? Why aren't you here? And I was like, well, like, I don't have the confidence for that. Like, I've always had partners, right? And then I was like, what? Can't I do some stuff?
Yeah, exactly.
And like, so yeah, I don't have those editing skills that I wish I had, but I pump out comics and coffee with Cliff, comics and cocktails with Cliff, my unboxings and random BS that I put up, or just live streams that I join on, because, because of course I do want to promote being in the environment. And I'm not saying I want to be Mr. Positivity. I know I'm not, but like, and I don't want to like come down on people. Like, no way. I'm not doing John Romita Jr. I'm over it. Like, but like, if people still love that and they want it, like, more power to you. It's very much not for me. But yeah, so like, I just want to be out there. And of course, one of my original missions being that, like, I want to be part of the space, and I want to be a symbol of like sharing in the space, regardless of where you are.
Yeah.
Every which shade, shape, and form, and of course there's a lot of people out there. There is. We've got Power
Definitely.
and House of X and all these wonderful content creators who are, queer and queer people of color, and just like, yes. So like, I'm here for all of it, and I genuinely would like to build bridges.
Well, it's great that you're able to have this platform and spread so much positivity out there in the comics community. I think that's something really special about YouTube, and that's something that when I saw your Instagram and I saw you there with Mike, I was like, I just love that this guy's so positive, and he's like having these great interactions with people, and it made me want to reach out to you and have you on the show. So I think that's really cool.
Thank you, and I appreciate it, because I was done. I was like, you what? I was like, of course. Like, hold on, let me do some research.
Well, it's absolutely my pleasure, and I appreciate you spending some time with me here tonight. And I want to give the spotlight over to you to let everybody know where they can find you, where the best places to subscribe and follow and all that good stuff are.
All right, so you can find me on Instagram at CliffNY, CLIFF, N as in Nancy, Y as in Yankee, or New York, obviously. You can find me on Cliff on Comics, at Cliff on Comics, on YouTube. All right, and of course you can catch my live shows there, and you can catch me over at the Council of Comics over on YouTube. It's at the Council of Comics MMLC, something like that. But Council of Comics, you'll find me. So follow me and my buddies there. We're on 3 nights a week with live streams. We do movie reviews and box office on Sundays at 5 Eastern time, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Mondays, it's New Keys and Hot Comics of the Week. 8 p.m. Eastern time on Wednesdays, it's New Comic Book Day, where there's like clips and skits and stuff that we do, and also interactive with us, doing live stuff. And chances for you to win ducks for our duck race for our monthly prize box. Our last monthly prize box was in honor of hitting 1,000 subscribers, and the value of the prize box was over $1,000.
Oh, that's amazing.
So it was amazing. Also, it was wallet breaking, but it was really and a really great guy. James won it, and shout out to James for winning it. It was amazing. And then somebody won second place, and that's not anywhere near as big as the prize, but it's very nice. And Tony will be receiving second place.
Very cool.
So like, it's really fun over there with them. But yeah, you could catch me all over the YouTubes because I try to show up and spread some cheer and do things and so yeah, I highly recommend all of it. I was on Only Slabs today over on Brown's Fat Stacks of Comics. Go check him out too. It was great. My episode was wonderful. And I have
awesome.
I have many episodes of many things coming. So you just find me. Those are the two best places to follow me. And that's it. I look forward to a great 2025.
Awesome. Find Cliff out there spreading the love all over the YouTubes and the Instagrams. And I just want to thank you for spending some time with me tonight here. I'm going to give my spiel to everybody about where to find the podcast. I mean, if they're already listening to this, they know. But I always encourage you guys to make sure to look at the YouTube video version of the podcast, because the awesome guests like Cliff that I have on, a lot of times they have awesome slabs or artwork and all sorts of cool stuff to show off. So highly encourage you guys to check that out, youtube.com/@nerdymewzings. In the meantime, everybody, I'm going to tell Big Cliff, have a happy new year. I hope to have you back on in the future. And everybody out there, keep it nerdy.